Hi everyone! Welcome to Fabrically Speaking Live. I'm Clare Rowley, your host, and this is, I believe, Season 2, Episode 6. And this is a series on Valentine's Day. It's a very sweet subject. And it's a reason to buy chocolates. Those of you who already knew I was going to go live should already have purchased yourself some chocolates. So are you guys already partaking of your chocolate? I figure at the end of the show, I'll have a piece of candy with you. Are you guys up for that? So what we're going to do is we're going to quilt. What does quilting have to do with a chocolate box? This is a bunch of templates that you can use in the future anytime you want to do something with a heart. And also, after you remove the candy, it will be another box where you can store little pieces for your sewing or fill it with some other chocolate for later on for your next time. Buying all three of these was mostly just because I wanted to make sure I had everything I needed for today's show. Honest, I didn't do it to buy the chocolate. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Susan. You guys should be getting to know each other. You guys are regulars. Hi, Fiona. So ultimately, at some point, hopefully, we will have an assistant who's on as well. We really tried hard to get her set up, but her internet isn't good, and she happens to be in Texas. She's like, we're going to get snow. So this is the fusible. That's what happened last time. I tried to switch my cameras, and all of a sudden, the internet went down. So let's give it another try. Crossing fingers. It looks really dark because my light is on. Ta-da! So this is the Applique fusible stabilizer that we use to build appliques that don't have any stitching on the outside edges. On her stabilizer, she has her company name listed. And when you're looking at it, if you can read her name, that is not the fusible side. That is the non-fusible side. So the fusible side is shiny. And normally pencils don't write on the fusible side. And frequently when we do applique, we have to draw something upside down and then trace it again. But with the pencils that she has, you can actually write on the fusible side, on the bumpy side of stabilizers. And I don't have one of her pencils on me. Thought I had everything. Darn it. We're going to use the Octi-Hoops as well, if you haven't seen them before. This is my product that helps you do free motion quilting. But first we're going to get our fabrics ready. So the first thing you want to do is take the liner out, and the liner is going to be used to trace through to create the heart-shaped fusible stabilizer. And since a heart is the right way, no matter which way it's flipped, you don't have to think about which side you draw on using the stabilizer, so you don't need one of her pencils right off the go. Whatever that means. And this is going to go on top of that box, this heart, after. But first we're going to do something so we cover the entire top of the box. That means we need to trace around this part of the heart as well. And what I did to do that, put this away. And I can't split the screen with these two cameras. So I don't know what's going on with that camera. I just took the box down and traced around the box for the second pattern. I'll get this out of the way. So you choose where you want. Now this fabric is really cool. Have all these colors all the way through it. And I wanted to make it so that I had some of the pink-ish tone in there. And you don't want to trace, oops, wrong thing. You don't want to trace really close to the box, and you can take the rest away actually. So you just have the top to deal with. So you can flip it upside down. And you're going to trace around it, but we don't want to cut the fabric up to it because we're going to use the fabric to go all the way around and over so that we can actually close the lid. And I'm not sure about the over yet. We'll see. Because I didn't get to make one before I started again. So you can see I traced, and you may not be able to see that, but you'll be able to see it with the light, maybe not. Because I didn't use a dark color pen. This is a iron erase pen. So if you have any type of pen that irons away, washes away. Hi, Amy. Better Days is Amy. I memorized it. So as we go around like that, I actually had done that by going around this and just drawing along the perimeter of it. I can't really see over here. And this is a way to quilt something that's smaller than the hoops, because we want to make sure we have enough fabric. And I may not have even left myself enough fabric over here, but sometimes you just can't. Uh-oh, I just dropped my box. I want to make sure that I have a good size square. I gotta put the lid back on it. So we don't have batting fuzz all over the chocolate. So did you guys all become friends in the school? Because you guys were like every week. Which I'm not complaining about. I love that. We're all getting to know each other. So I really don't have to cut this, but I'm going to cut it down a little bit because that's the point of this, to show you how to quilt something smaller. And don't you worry, I'm going to show you how to quilt something really big as soon as I finish my quilt. We had meetings this week to complete the new Creative Feet site coming up. So that took some of my time away from piecing. Slowly but surely shaving off some of my to-do list. And then we're going to take some batting. And we want to make sure the batting is bigger. And this is how we cheat. So if you're going to quilt a small object, and I've been bringing this up each week, but I haven't shown it, so. This is a small object. I could even quilt just that little heart. But this square is still smaller than is easy with the Octi-Hoops. Because this hoop itself is going to go beneath. I'm going to turn this light off so you can see better. So this larger of the two hoops that I'm going to use goes beneath the quilt, and this goes on top. And this is another time when you really don't need a backing fabric. I could use a backing fabric if you guys want me to prove that I can do it, because I haven't done it in quite a while. It's up to you. Just say, yes, I really want you to put a backing on there. My issue is it may be too thick for the function of the lid if I put another fabric under there. And since it'll be on the top, it's kind of wasting any fabric you would put beneath. Does that make sense, you guys? And if you guys could give me thumbs ups and share stuff, the algorithms on these streaming sites like that, and then they will share more. Karen could use some cooler weather. You guys send it over her way. So I'm going to go ahead and start with quilting. And I'm excited. How many of you have used the Octi-Hoops for quilting so far? Uh-oh. I did click the right one. Yay. It didn't look like I was going to click on the right one. Okay. So I don't need all that batting, so I'm going to cut some of it off. Fold that over to give myself some type of a guide to make it somewhat square, but it doesn't matter. I think all of the people in the chat know that I've created a Fabrically Speaking live group inside of the school. And the school Create with Clare Rowley is what I'm referring to. And in there is where you can share pictures of your heart boxes and all the other projects that I've done so far. It's time to brag. I want to see what you guys are doing. Depending on how much time we have or how tired I am, we'll determine how much fun we have with the feet, because I am going to play around with the feet a little bit. And I was like, oh no, I got to wind a bobbin and I don't have time before the show. And I went, wait, I got pre-wound bobbins. And I am going to use and talk about thread a little because I've been asked to do that. So this is kind of what happens. You ask me questions in the school and it kind of forms or carves my class for the next show or one coming up. Because I can't guarantee you get what you want every single week. Although I tried to spoil you. And I said I was hoping for one day without batting tickling my face, but let me see. Are you going to work? Because if you're not going to work, I'm just going to not have this camera. We'll see. Is it? It's like frozen on something it did before. Let me turn it off. See, and I've already done this, so I'm not thinking it's going to work. We'll see. Please work. Everybody wants you to. It worked! Yay! All right, we're doing good. I was like, oh, that's so pretty. I might have to use this today. What should I do? Stay in theme, do red, or do this bright pink? Which color do you want to see? The pink? Because I can use the red bobbin with the pink. These are the Karen Buckley scissors. They were given to me at a show. They're really cool. I really like them. In case you're ever questioning whether or not to get them. We're going to be adding these to our site as well. And they come in a variety of different sizes. So these are the Deco Bob bobbins, and these are 80 weight thread. And in answer to Sandy's question is, are the threads, when the numbers get higher, thinner? And yes, the bigger the number, the thinner the thread. Opposite of logic. Kind of like the tension. When your thread tension looks bad on the top, it's usually the bottom. So I pulled that cardboard off, and you can see this is still protected. Flip it over. And this lid comes off. Okay, so we want to do this. There's a good way to do this. And I did it right the first time. Yeah, so this is the way you want it. You can see some of the tails are coming out. So not only is this great for the bobbin, but it's also great in the needle. And that is my option today, is to use the Deco Bob. And they named it Deco Bob because it's great in the bobbin, but it's also wonderful in the top. If your sewing machine prefers a little bit thicker thread than the 100 weight Invisifil that we have, then this is a good option. But honestly, I haven't really had anybody complain. You glad you're not the only one? Oh, you don't have the box. I got 3. Want one? So you can eat the chocolate. Let's see. This is a class 15 bobbin, by the way. And inside of your manual, it'll say what class your bobbin is. You got a classy bobbin? I got a classy bobbin. I got a classy 15 bobbin. This is my way of helping it stick in your head that not all bobbins are the same. Wait till you see the next machine I'm bringing on set. I'm finishing it. Some of you have seen it at shows. And for those of you who don't know about putting your bobbin in, it really depends on your machine. But almost all of the top loading come off the top and go to the left. So if I had it flipped this way, it'd be coming off the bottom and going to the left. So we want to make sure it goes to the top. And on my machine, it has a little diagram right there. And yours probably does too. Unless you painted over it and you can't see it anymore. All right. And when I quilt, I don't cut my bobbin short. So even though they have a cutter right here, I'm not going to use it. Because it just doesn't always work. I'm so excited about quilting. It's been a while since I got to play with the Octi-Hoops. And no matter how much I use them, I still go, I get to use the Octi-Hoops today. Look, Sandy, I got my glasses thanks to Sandy. I love it. It doesn't fall over at all. As long as you know what you're doing. So normally, you're actually, and this is going to be really great, because this whole area is quilting that's going to be covered up, you guys. This is how you practice. So you can quilt inside that heart, but you're not going to see it when you're done, because we're going to put this on top of the box, on top of the knee quilting that you did. And then we're going to stuff it from behind, and we're going to make the heart stick up. Hi, Eva from California. Tinkerbell and Chase can go all the way around my tables now. And Chase has his own bed. And so there shouldn't be any more dog arguments in the sewing room. I don't see any questions. So you want the pink. I want the pink too. All right, I'm going to use the red in the bobbin, and I'm going to do pink on top. Actually, I should do a little so you can, I'm going to show you the difference. That's what I was planning when I had my brain screwed on. I was going to show you the difference between 100 weight, 80 weight, and 40 weight. So you can look and see what you like. And that's something you can do at home as well if you have all of them. There's my other Invisible. So I may as well start with the thinnest. And this is the 100 weight. I keep waiting for you guys to talk back. I am using the thread dispenser to thread my machine, looking around my microphone and all the lighting that we have over here. On this machine, it has an automatic needle threader, or kind of automatic. So you're going to lower the foot, and this one doesn't have a button to raise the foot. I'm kind of teaching myself how to use it. Then it goes into this little slit. Whoopsie, don't get dizzy. And then there's a little lever here, and you just push it. It's very loud. And then don't poke your finger. You have to raise the foot again to pull that through. Easy. And one of the things about the Octi-Hoops is that you have the choice to use a free motion foot or not. So it isn't required that you take it off. And if you want, I'll do both. In fact, it's a good idea for me to do both if I can find it. You know what? I may not be able to find it. I barely ever use their feet. There's, and I'm not going to slow down things. If you lose your screwdriver and you have the Applique tweezers, which I absolutely love. These are handicap or physically challenged tweezers. Let me zoom in so you can see better. So they allow you to hold them in any way that you need. So you don't have to do this movement, which a lot of people have injury, repetitive motion injury. Do any of you have issues with your hands like that? You're all so quiet. Are you guys tired? So you can also use this as like a screwdriver. It's a handy dandy little tool. This machine is noisy. I wonder why it's so noisy. Because, hey, I traveled all over the United States. I'm noisy because you wore me out. You guessed 40 weight. This is 40 weight. So this is what I'm going to end with. I'm going to start with the 100 weight. Then I'm going to do a little 80 weight. And I can't get that tail. But I can with these tweezers. There we go. And I will be putting a thread chart in the school soon. Thanks, Sandy, for that. It's just, you know, an oversight. I should have done it all along. I got a 100 weight thread in here. And with a 100 weight thread, you can use any size needle. So then the needle size is really determined by the fabric. What type of fabric are you sewing? We're going through a layer of batting and a layer of material. So it'd be advisable to at least use an 80-12. And right now I have a 90-14 in there. I'm just going to leave it in there. You probably like your sewing better with an 80-12 though. Can't see very well. You guys hear me say that every week, don't you? I'm paying attention to you, Claire. Well, I understand. And my brain can only do so much as well. I got 4 cameras. So this is, we're just going to have a great day. We're not going to worry about it. Have fun. Yes, Sandy got a thank you. Don't forget to give us thumbs up. Okay. How do the Octi-Hoops work? Some of you haven't used them, but you already have them. They come with handles. That was an old handle. This is the new one. The new handles are tapered, come down to a different diameter at the end. Is that how long it's been since I used that machine? That has the old handles. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. Before you quilt, you want to do some deep breathing. Slow in. And kind of calm yourself because it's so scary. But also kind of like connect with the muscles in your body. Kind of pay attention to where they are. I mean, you carry them around, but we carry our muscles around. A lot of times our shoulders are up, even when we're not knowing that we're doing it. And we're going to rest our elbows. So we want to make sure there's nothing that's going to hurt in your way. And I don't need to leave this light on. I'm going to turn it off. And push the machine a little bit further away from me so that I can actually rest my body. I'll move this mic a little bit. I got all these little goodies under here. So the reason I'm using this is because I can control my mess better. You don't even need it. And I have covered that on several videos on my YouTube channel. And if you've gone to the Fabrically Speaking group inside of Create with Clare Rowley, my free online school, you'll notice that I put every episode of the show inside of there. And I plan on doing that inside of the Octi-Hoops group as well. So that you guys don't have to go to YouTube. You just go right into the school and watch them in concession. Because people were having trouble posting comment here, comment there, and losing track of where you put your comments inside the school. So if you're commenting on that particular video and it stays there, and you know it's in Octi-Hoop video, then you'll know where to find it. And I would probably cross post them. This is an Octi-Hoop video, so it will be in the Octi-Hoop group, but it's a Fabrically Speaking live show, so it will be in the Fabrically Speaking group as well. So if you post a comment, and the microphone lagged for a second, making sure it catches up. Okay, there we go. So if you post them in one and you don't find your comment in the other, then you probably put it in the other. The comment won't carry with the video. If that makes any sense. What are you sorry for, Tina? You're not late. Because this is forever. So I put the Octi-Hoop below and the other one above. And it's inside of the one beneath, but it's not locked to anything. And the handle is used for writing with the Octi-Hoops. Is that good in focus? Okay. Look at the left side of the screen, not the right, so you don't get dizzy. Bring that in focus. Why aren't you wanting to focus? There we go. It's a little dark though. See what we're doing? I'll make sure you got a good view. How pretty. Okay. Now where's my foot control? There's no little eyeglass case for the foot control. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring the outside of that V into the inside of that V. And then you can just slide it around. You're not sewing yet. Foot off the foot control. Just sit there and go, Claire's telling me I need to do this. She's telling me not to touch, not to run the machine. This is kind of boring. Another thing I suggest you do is not even use them right away. Wear them like a bracelet. Walk around the house. Look at them. And go, you're the Octi-Hoops. I can use you. And then walk around and grab them again. And look at them again and go, you're not scary. I'm not afraid of you. And it becomes familiar to you. Because anytime there's something not familiar to you, your brain goes into fight or flight, goes, ah! And then that does make it harder for you. No sticky at Clare Rowley. What does that mean? No sticky at Clare Rowley. I have no idea what that means. I probably said something that made you say that. Okay. So basically what you want to do is you want to train your brain on how to use these. You grab the corner with your non-dominant hand and put the handle down and rest your head on your hand. And see, I'm like kind of like laying down. Kind of resting. Breathe. Calm. Loosen all your muscles. And then just grab the corner. And just start sliding it around. And this is with your non-dominant hand. You're training this hand to just keep that corner into that corner. So how you then progress is go to the next corner and just slide it in, move it around. Another position I put my hand in is like this. Ring finger over here, thumb there, index finger there. And that allows me to hold them and swing them around. And then go way over here and grab from over there and spin it around and bring it in. And as you're doing it, if you say, bring the corners together, your job, look at this hand and go, your job is to keep the frames together. And then have it go, okay. And making yourself giggle and stuff when you do something that can be scary is good. And talking out loud, as we talk about every week, is very important. It helps you. We're not using any sticky stabilizer today. This is quilting, not embroidery. So this fabric is just laying on top of the batting. We can use the glue. And actually what I would normally do, and I should show you what I normally would do, which means I should put the Satinedge Foot on, because that's what I would do. So this is your lesson on how to familiarize yourself with the Octi-Hoops. Bring the corners together, rock it around like that, and just keep doing that until you don't have to think about it. And then walk away from it. Then come back and do it again. And then you can start thinking about sewing with it. But you also need to examine yourself and think, how tight am I? Am I relaxed? Then I'm doing it right. If you're feeling all tense, then you need to familiarize yourself with them a little bit more. We're not pushing down with them at all. You had skip stitches with no pressure foot, without sticky paper. Was it one layer of fabric, or did you have batting in there? Hi, Pearl. See more people come in here. Hi, Sharon. Hello, everybody. And hello, all of you that are not participating but watching. Welcome to Fabrically Speaking Live, Season 2, Episode 6. I hope it's Episode 6, because I keep saying it. So you had skip stitches. What causes a skip stitch? Does anybody know? Tell me. One thing that causes a skip stitch is too large a needle. If you have too big of a needle, it creates a large hole, and then when the bobbin comes around to form the stitch, it can just slip. Another thing that can cause it is the fabric is sticky. And if the fabric is sticky and there's nothing making it taut, so if it was just one layer of fabric and no batting, and we tried to quilt or stitch through it without the stabilizer, like that, I'm going to skip stitches too. I would use our Sticky Back Tearaway Stabilizer, which is not paper. And I would cut a window in it if I didn't want any stabilizer to be on the back, which is what I did when I did this Christmas stocking, which I didn't have out. I wasn't prepared for Christmas. But we will be showing you every week more and more. And then there is going to be, or are, I don't know, which grammar should I be using? There will be live videos in the school. So this is my show, and this is whatever I want to do day each week. And inside the school, you'll be able to boss me around a little bit. Okay, so first thing I need to do is make sure that this fabric doesn't slip, and we can use the glue. And since I want to go all the way and stitch, why not? Let's just stitch. Well, let's see. Because why not? Because we have to form it over this lip. And that's all we really have to do, have it come over the lip. So if we were to lay this down on top of here, there is like a point where you don't want to quilt. At least that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to just kind of draw about a ½ inch all the way around, another line, to kind of tell myself to stop. But I don't want to stop, and you won't either, because once you get quilting, it becomes so much fun. Once you stop worrying about it, it becomes kind of automatic. So I can quilt all the way in here, and this will be practice. Unless you like it so much that you end up using that as a lid and do another one because it turned out too good. I love how the chocolate just fills the room. Yum, yum. All right, so to get this fabric to not shift at all, and if this were even smaller, like a pot holder or a Barbie quilt, you could lay a whole bunch of Barbie quilts on top and then quilt them all. So if you don't want this fabric to shift at all, then you use the Satinedge Foot. Uh-oh, where's my other? There it is. I'll tell you what. Are you guys wondering how you dealt without having one of those now that you made one? I'm loving mine. And inside of here is the glue. So I can actually do some little dots on here as well. Just to kind of show you. If this were a big quilt, this is what I would do. Lay the fabric out and then bring it over halfway. And then start in the middle. You don't have a lip on your box? What kind of box is it? So is it just all the way down? We're going to use elastic to finish the bottom of it, but you could actually glue, if you're going to keep the box, you could actually glue the fabric to the box. I didn't know there were other boxes like that. All of mine have a little lip on there. So dots of glue represent or eliminate the need for safety pins. If this were a big quilt, we still would not need safety pins. Then you just slide your finger across and then do a series of drops again. And then slide your finger across. And the reason we slide our fingers across, because if you leave a blob and it dries, well, it's just harder for the needle to go through. It's water-soluble stabilizer. You could actually wet a washcloth and wipe it right off. Well, Sandy, when I get to, and I'll put it up here for everyone to see, her box is just straight. It doesn't have this little lip right here. Since I have 3 boxes of candy, I could cut one down, and depending on how much time we have, and see how that would work. Be the same thing. Whoops. All right. Right? So, Sandy, that would make this, that would be the same, right? Is that what I'm imagining? Because all I have is what I'm imagining. You just got your glue last night, Tina? It's awesome. Here we go. And we're going to do it again. So about every 4 inches. Let me pull back on this. Here we go. We got lights everywhere. Cameras everywhere. Lights everywhere. Lights, camera, action. There we go. I can't wait till I don't have to think to do this. Dot, dot, pin no more, never more, no more safety pins. Yay. No more hurting your back, bending over, safety pinning. No more bleeding on your quilt from poking yourself with pins. This is your buddy, man. And it lasts a long time. It's like Bob Riddle, he's a regular. He has had his for years. He's like, I can't believe it lasts so long. It really depends on how much sewing you do. If you did a lot of binding, because that is a lot of glue going all the way around the binding, and then you flip it over and then you do that again, you probably go through, you know, a lot faster than Bob. Okay. Is it time to play? No, gotta put the foot on first. That's play too. The Satinedge foot is so much fun. How would I sew without it? Oh my gosh, I remember what it was like. Do you guys remember what it was like to sew without the Satinedge? I hope this noise is not obnoxious. This camera's supposed to, or this microphone is supposed to prevent all this noise from being so loud. Yeah, the problem with the spray adhesive, and I have taught to use spray adhesive, but there's two different kinds. There's a permanent and a temporary. And I never recommend the temporary spray adhesive. And I know that probably sounds really weird, because like everything I say is like you jump down the rabbit hole and everything you need to be true is not. Ah, they made it so I can find it easier. Thank you, goodness. Okay. It's a subtle thing that I can't really show you, but the app got better today. This is the Satinedge foot for those of you who don't already own one. And it comes packaged like you see here with adapters inside and the foot itself. And this is a booklet that gives you the basic instructions on how to use it. It is a reclosable container, so you don't need to cut it open. If any of you are watching from the UK, know that we're about to start having them available on Amazon in the UK, because they keep hounding me every day. Here we go. We won't have our entire product line on there. We just simply can't. We don't even have all of our products on Amazon in the US. So the foot itself is a snap-on foot, and it has this little wire inside the zigzag opening. And when you turn this nut, it changes the location of the wire within the zigzag opening. The zigzag opening determines the width of a zigzag stitch that you can use. Before you begin sewing ever using this with a zigzag stitch, you want to make sure that the needle is going to clear in both swings of that. And if you push it too far, like it's like almost hitting the side of the foot, you can get away with it for a while, but you might have something that happens and then you could break your needle on that wire. It does take a lot to break that. In fact, you cannot break our wire. You can bend it, but you cannot break it. And we replaced them. So if you ever break our foot, even if you did it, we will give you a new foot. And each of the creative feet snap on. Try not to make this too loud. Just push, and then it snaps right on. If you're afraid to break the foot when snapping the adapter on, stop it. Don't be afraid. It won't break from you putting the adapter on, even though it feels really tight. Now, if your sewing machine has a snap-on adapter, you can just snap it right on. And it may be then too wide or too narrow based on the wire, or the snap-on bar is what it's called. And you see how that fits. And this is the Bernina snap-on adapter. But we also have screw-on adapters for the Bernina at creativefeet.com. And I can help you with any questions you have on how to fit it to your machine. I can't see that. It's a lot of writing though. The more we use it, the easier it gets. Yes. And that's true of the Octi-Hoops too. Okay, so I'm going to put the Satinedge foot on. I just put it away. You didn't know my products were available on Amazon? Well, we appreciate you buying them directly from us. It does put more in our pocket. But a lot of people are just on Amazon now. Not everything is on there, though. In fact, none of our stabilizers are. If we can't make it fast enough, then it's not on Amazon. Boy, this machine is so noisy. It's like sitting down on an old bench. All right. Oh, that's the Sequins and Ribbon Foot. Oops. There we go. Back to the Satinedge. What makes you skip stitches, especially in the very beginning, is sometimes having the bobbin thread too short, as I talked about before. Why I make my bobbin thread long is to make sure I can pick it up. Now keep this fabric laying down. You guys learned last week how to do a stitch, a basting stitch on your machine. Do any of you remember? Write it in the comments. What is this? The little book that comes with it is only needed if you buy the feet by themselves. The book has much more information. And if you don't know we have a book, we do. Man, I was going to bring that binder in here. This is why I needed an assistant. And she would have been in here, but she has to pick up her daughter. You're going to love Rosie when I get her, when we figure it out. But she may never be able to be in the live, all of it, on Thursdays, because she has a little girl. So I'm opening this. This is one of our specials, and it comes with all 3 of the creative feet. And then accessories for the Sequins and Ribbon Foot. So this foot ends up being like 4 feet if you get the guides, because they have different size openings. And then the Satinedge, pearls and piping. The adapters are inside of the box or container. And then this is our book and video. And even though we have all these videos, and every week I go live, you still need the book and video, right? How many know that to be true now? Thumbs up if you know that to be true. And those of you who are on YouTube, if you go down, you see the little smiley face, and you click on it, and then it opens up a bunch of emojis so you can play. And we should have fixed the problem with our chat or our super chats, but I still can't see them in here, which is why I need an assistant. Sorry for the noise. And if I have time, I'm going to show you something. I'm just going to play around with each of the feet, because you might want to put some lace on something for Valentine's. So did any of you remember? Nobody was brave enough to write it. So we're going to go with, what tension do we use when we're doing a basting stitch? Thread tension. Which one do we use? Crossing fingers. Let's see if this works. I have another camera. And we want to remove that one and bring this one in. So the thread tension on this machine is right here. And so I'm just going to bring it down to 0. There's proof. Beep, beep, beep. I know it seems insane, but yep, that's what we want to do. And we want a straight stitch, and this is my length, and take it all the way to 5. And that's the max on my machine. I'm going to go slow. I just feel like I can really show you better with this phone. Try not to make you dizzy. Isn't that what you really want? You want to be able to see as if your nose is right in there. And thankfully I don't have to be able to see, but I am going to try to stabilize my body so you don't get dizzy. I have the guide a distance away from the needle. And then the foot, all I have to do is make sure that fabric touches the left side of the guide. And I don't have to really struggle to do that. Thank goodness, because I'm holding this phone. I also reduced the foot pressure. The foot pressure, you'll know it's heavy if you lift and you can't lift it. Well, you may not be able to even if it's loose. Mine is on the back of the machine, back here. And I know it's all the way down when it's loose like that. And there's numbers on there. So you can get up and look around the back. Or you may have a machine with a silver disc on top. And there's an outer ring and a post that pops up. And when you push down on the outer ring, the post pops all the way up. That's the loosest pressure. Everything sounds so squeaky. So this isn't anything that we're worried about, really. It's just to hold this down. Lift the foot and spin around. And you could lower the needle, but I'm holding the phone with my right hand. Let's see. I have another tripod, but I was trying not to have to contort my body because you're supposed to sit. How are you supposed to sit when you sew? You're supposed to center your body. And on the camera, it looks like I'm centered, but I'm actually sitting beside my sewing machine, which means I can't see like the camera is seeing. This is where my body should be, but I'm way over here. Try to make sure you're centered with your body. Elbows are always resting. Notice that I'm just kind of letting crawling my fingers as it goes, because I'm not steering. Hey, last week's challenge was for you guys to sew with your eyes closed. I want you guys to put your hands up. Show me how many of you tried sewing with your eyes closed this week. And if you didn't, well, you have to do it this week then. How much lower? The pressure is all the way down. Your lightest pressure for this. Because the batting is kind of loose. We don't want to chew it up with the feed dogs. So a light pressure. Also prevents it from puckering. A lot of people don't know what puckering is. I didn't realize people didn't know what puckering is. Better days. Amy did it. Amy sewed with her eyes closed. How'd it go? Were you scared? Did you have shortness of breath? I think all the cameras are in focus too. Yay. If we didn't have the power outage, this would have been a perfect day. Who else did it? Anybody else? Anybody else sew with their eyes closed? All you had to do was like 4 inches. Just give it a try. Okay, so this is batting and fabric. This would be very challenging for the foot to do with my eyes closed. But once you get your hand in position, then try it. And I get like this buzzing feeling on the back of my head. Whoops, I can't do that. I can't sew with my eyes closed while holding the camera. Da, 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 da. Oh, I didn't do the chicken dance song. What song was that, though? Oh, my goodness. You were very nervous. How far did you go? How many inches? I was thinking about doing something today. We'll see. Depends how long this takes. Now, we don't want to forward and reverse, and we don't even want to get all the way to the end because we want to rip this out afterward. 6 inches, that's awesome. By 6 inches, I get really buzzed feeling. It's kind of a release of endorphins, I think. or fear. All right, I'm going to take off this camera and switch back to the other one. There we go. We have cameras. Uh-oh. That doesn't want to sit down. Let's see. Get this back in focus. Quit being blurry. Look at me, not that. I'm going to zoom in really quick. There we go. That looks good. Do any of you have any questions? Because I have been requested to ask questions periodically through instead of waiting to the end. Do any of you have any questions? It doesn't have to be about this project. And there's a question. Is it the same for the needles as it is with the thread? Smaller number? No. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Be sure nice if they would be consistent. And know that my son and I, and he is the person behind the development of my new site, we are writing a needles article. Going to be a blog on creativefeet.com. And that will be one of the blogs. So it'll be like an archive document center in addition to the school. Of course, it'll also be in the school. Okay, now I'm going to take the foot off. And where is that little screwdriver? Instead of the screwdriver, I'll use these. Sandy, you're supposed to be hanging out with your friend. If your friend is watching, hi. I have him locked out of the room with the window seat. So he barked and then he went, oh, like, I don't have access to the window. Move myself over a little bit because just not kind to myself otherwise. What is the max width for the satin stitch? No wider than 5 millimeters. It's a magic foot, but it isn't a super magic foot. So some of you won't be able to go 5 millimeters. It'll be like 4.5 or 4. But know that as our company gets stronger financially, I have plans for that. I do have another foot or two in my mind. We have to be able to afford to make them, though. Am I going to put my pressure back down? Nah, leave it alone. It can be loose because I'm not even using a foot. And if I were using a foot, I would have lighter pressure. But the free motion foot kind of hops on the fabric. So the problem with the free motion foot is that it taps. So anything that taps does cause the fabric to move. And that makes you like hold and try to stop it from moving. This is how you would quilt without the Octi-Hoops. There you go. We'll start with that. I'm not going to leave this up the whole time. So when I went lower on the pressure, I think I answered that all the way down to the lowest because of what I was doing. If I had fabric on the back, I wouldn't have needed to go all the way down, but I still would have. Some machines have lighter pressure naturally. Bernina, Viking Husqvarnas, they tend to have a lighter pressure just to begin with. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they try to make it look like you don't need pressure adjustment. See if there's any important question that I may have missed. How many of you are going to have a piece of candy with me at the end? Thumbs up if you're going to share. We'll end the show and then we can go cheers with our chocolate. All right, that's as far back as I'm going to go right now. Your friend just bought a new sewing machine today. Oh, so you guys are going to be able to sew together. She's going to eat the chocolates. It's always good to have a friend to eat your calories. Well, welcome to the show. I hope you join the school. And know that we'll be doing some Zoom-like classes soon, so you guys can be on screen as well, if you're brave enough to do it. So this one's now going to go beneath, and I can't see it. Oh my gosh, it's kind of like sewing with your eyes closed. Donna and Tina, they're going to join me for chocolate. And Lorinda. All right, we're all in this together. I read the calorie count on the back of the box. Don't do it. Now, before you begin quilting, don't use the handle. If you haven't used them yet, this is what I prefer you do. And you rest your head like this on your hand, and you're almost like you're going to take a nap. And then you're going to hold the hoop with your non-dominant hand. And don't take your head off that hand, because it works when you do this. If you do this, I don't have the ability to sew one-handed. So sewing one-handed is what we're trying for. We'll make sure that you're not laying on top of this, because then it won't move. So you just kind of move it until your arm is resting on a sewing machine or on your table, depending on how you're set up. And you could do this, but then you might feel like you're controlling your quilt, and that just doesn't work. You know, we can only control so much. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And then what are you going to do? Remember, you got all this area to goof around in. You can't mess up, because you're going to cover it up. See? Ha! Gave you something to do. So, making sure my elbows... Oops. What's that sound? Does everybody know that sound? That's the sound of an electronic machine telling you that the foot's not down. So the lever that you drop down, if you don't lower that, you get big loops on the bottom of your project, no matter what you're doing, by the way. And then bring your bobbin thread up. And this was a question I was asked that I should be saying every time I do it. The reason you bring your bobbin thread up is because once you start sewing, the fabric itself is on top of the machine, and the hoops, even though they're not really locked in place, they still prevent you from being able to get under there to snip your bobbin thread. That's one reason. So if you bring your bobbin thread up, there's no bobbin thread down there. Why don't we want bobbin thread down there? Because there are spaces in the surface of your machine. And should you sew and the bobbin thread be down there, as long as that is, get stitched. Like, if you can imagine this being beneath and you stitch over it, that would mean that you would have a loop that's secured on two ends underneath. And then you would start sewing and you get stuck. You can't move it because the loop gets stuck on the little spaces. That's one reason we bring a bobbin thread up. The other is if you don't, it'll skip stitches. So that would be number 2 reason why we get skip stitches. So bringing the bobbin thread up. You don't want to hold it like you're holding on for dear life. All you do is bring the needle thread and bobbin thread together and put your finger down. So it's just a light little pressure. And you really don't have to worry about the bobbin thread in this point. It's really just the needle thread. And we're going to start sewing, but remember, elbow down. And you can just sew a little bit. But you do need to move a distance away, because some people sew a few stitches and then cut their thread, and then the thread comes out of the needle. You need to actually travel a little distance. Where's all my Applique scissors? We're still out of the large Applique scissors, but we do have the mediums. And this is something I'll be using today. And these are scissors that have a position for every finger. Oopsie. So it has a spot for your pinky. It has a spot for your ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and your thumb. And they're nice and roomy. So you don't feel like you won't be going, get off my hand. And there's a serration on the actual blade itself. And that serration is your savior when we do needle turn applique, which is one of the things we're going to do if I ever stop talking and start sewing. All right, since I already know how to do this, you probably would enjoy watching me quilt a lot. And since we're kind of messing around here, first I need to educate you. Isn't that pretty? I love this camera. If only we could use this camera, this type, for all of the camera angles, but we cannot. At least not yet. So what am I testing right now? I forgot the tension's on 0. So this machine, well, I never changed stitch. If I changed stitches, it would have automatically been the right tension, which would be normal. And on this machine, it's a 4.0, I think. And it confirmed it because it lit up as the standard tension. What did Karen say? Why isn't it popping up? Here we go. What is Karen not alone? What did she say? Oh, peanut M&Ms. I was allergic to peanuts for years. So I can definitely not eat peanut M&Ms. Easy. So you need a replacement foot pedal? Yep, you can always get new parts from your sewing machine dealers. And if you bought a machine online, I should show you what this looks like because it's just awful looking. And that's because it was 0 tension. So here we go. We'll bring up the cell phone, the close camera. Whoops. Oh, the phone hit one of the buttons. See that? See the loops? But that's the top. And it's because I have 0 tension. The bottom probably looks just as bad. And I'm going to remove those stitches because I should. No, I don't have to because I'm going to cover this heart area with a heart. No one will know. This is the whole point of this exercise. You guys have no excuse to not do this because you're going to cover up all the stitching you put inside the heart. This is your chance to really get good at something with no stress. You guys are so hard on yourselves. Another thing I was going to do is actually show you some hand exercises before you start. You know, I'm going to loosen your hands. Loosen your neck, your mouth. If you tend to clench your teeth, you want to try to loosen everything up. Try to get your eyes to relax. Because a lot of times you squint, even though you don't need to. Just kind of a stressed state. Remember, you're in fight or flight when something's not familiar. I want to make it familiar. I love you. You're so nice. These are Octi-Hoops. I like my Octi-Hoops. And later on you'll be like, I do. I love my Octi-Hoops. Oops, my needle went down. Ugh, I never lower my needle on Free-Motion. And so you probably are wondering why I'm saying that. The reason you don't want to lower your needle is because you're moving. You can move the fabric. So if your needle is down, you can break your needle by moving it. So it's pretty dangerous. But a lot of you have been taught to do that. Lower your needle and then start. And then your needles break. Do any of you have a machine where you can have it always stop in the lowered position. If you do a thumbs up, because I want you to remember to, after we're done, to stop that, to find out how to make it always stop up. And remember, if you ever need to lower it, you can always push the needle down button to lower it. So there's really no reason to have it always stop down. I may have already read this, but I got it. I actually had no handle, and I had my head resting on my dominant hand, and I was holding the frames together with just the corner. And now with the tension proper, I'll do it again. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. And I say this to myself, even when you guys aren't watching. And I'm doing a pebble. And see how slow I'm going? You know why? Because I can if I want. You don't have to go fast. A lot of you believe you have to go fast. Slow down. You move too fast. You got to make the moment last. I'm goofier than usual. You can sew with any of your machines. You don't have to worry about it. This is able to be used on a treadle. It's awesome. Elbows down. Now I'm going to use the handle. Now that I feel like I can do it one-handed. Of course, you know I already can do it. So I feel the tension is too tight though. And I don't just feel it, I know it. So I'm going to show you why. These are the things you need to know. Uh-oh. This camera's off. Is it back? It is. Hey, that was pretty cool. Gosh, I love it when things work. Don't you? And you know what? When you get the hang of these hoops, you're going to be like, they work. They really do. This is, I can't zoom in. And I can't not be on the screen. So this is the biggest I can make it. This is why some of my videos are edited, because I could zoom in on that. I'm stuttering today. So if you look, this is where the tension was 0. So you can see that's not a good plan. Oh, this camera tries to focus on its own. So this is all loopy, and that was 0 tension. It's all, and that causes skip stitches too. So now it's not skipping because it was on 4, which is the normal tension. So generally when I give you instructions, I say one number less than normal. So we'll go from a 4 to a 3. That was stitch length. What machine am I using? Come on, brain. Kick in. When in doubt, turn it off, turn it back on again. And that cancels out anything an electronic machine may have in it. Okay, that's that tension. Okay, so what I was doing was changing the stitch length instead of the tension. Why? Because everything's painted. So, and I don't use the machine enough. So I can't remember what was there. Let's see. Since I'm not using the handle, I'll quilt one-handed with 3 tension, so I don't have to move the camera. The other reason usually you're told to lower the needle is because you don't know where your needle's going to come down, but you can see because there's no foot. If there's no foot blocking your view, you can see if the thread is coming straight up and down that you are starting where you left off because you are where you left off. So it's really easy to forget to lower your needle if you do have that habit of lowering your needle. I have people go, why don't I ever feel like I need to lower the needle? Because you don't need to. You just don't. You just were told that you had to. There's so many rules that you guys follow. So you don't need to. I'm a rule breaker. So this is 3 tension. I have to talk to myself, stay within the heart. This is doing pebbles. Doing pebbles with my left hand. By the way, I cannot write at all with a pen in my left hand. And guess what I'm doing? I'm quilting without resting my head on my hand. Whoops. Oh, I thought about it and now I can't sew. Oh my gosh, I did it. You guys are learning how to use the chat. I'm so proud of you. You know how long it took me to figure out you have to do @ and the person's name in order for them to know you commented on their comment? Thank you guys for hanging out with each other. Okay, so this is the invisible thread. I did not say invisible, but it sounded like it. Invisifill thread. Now I'm going to switch to the Deco Bob so we can see the difference between them. I may as well leave this on. So I'll give you a little view of the room. I have that scaffolding going up there, and this has to do with doing the king size quilt. There's some cameras. See, another camera up there, some more lights, stuff on the wall. It's because I'm getting organized and clean that I don't mind doing this. I'm going to be testing some new inks, and I was going to invite you guys to watch me do it live. It will not be a Fabrically Speaking episode. If you guys want to watch me test inks, which means I'll probably paint something similar to that, and you'll get to learn how to paint as well. And then I'm going to test the washing and everything, because some of the colors on the inks that we're carrying are no longer available, and it's very disappointing. This is my mother's Valentine quilt. That was done using a coloring book and the Octi-Hoops, using the Sticky Back Tearaway Stabilizer, our Stick and Tear, the one with a frog on the label. And she just traced all of that back a long time ago, and before the friction pens. And she used charcoal pencil because it just comes off. So that is a treasure, because my mom is with the angels now. And that's as far as I can turn my body around. So I'm going to go slow so I don't make you nauseous. And I'll give you a little peek. There's another computer camera. And there she is, the star of the show. Tinky dink. All right. And we're just going to remove that. I don't have to think about that for a minute. So the only way I can use my cell phone is if I have one of these headphones in my ear. So every time I say something, I hear myself say it again. And that's why I'm a little bit more wacky today. What is this? A tin is your favorite. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. What's a 3? What's a 10? I guess I shouldn't eavesdrop on your conversations. So a 10 needle is really small, and you're going to break it. There's just no way I would quote with a 10. So 10 is really small. What is this? Sugar makes me sick too. I don't do well with it. Never have. But I will have one piece with you guys. I can have candy in my house for like months. My friend comes over and she's like, "You still have that candy?" I'm like, "Yes, do you want it?" I was thinking about sewing some pearls. Oh, the wool mats. This is actually the Caterpillar Light tablet. And someone asked me to talk more about it last week, and I didn't catch that question. So I will try to not forget today. But these pearls, yes, I found my big pearls. I was like, where are all my pearls? And these are sequins. So this will be an extra segment of this class if I ever get it done. Because I don't think this is going to take very long. but then I never do think things are going to take as long as they do. I tested wool last week and it didn't go well, so we won't be carrying it because it smells really awful when you heat it up. And water, the steam just goes right through it. And since I would be ironing on my electric cutting tablet that has light beneath it, that's what the cutter pillars are. It's usually covered with a bunch of stuff. They come with mats with lines, and this is the edge-to-edge mat. The edge-to-edge mat doesn't have any lines. I took the lined mat off to trace the heart because it was too many lines. I couldn't tell where my line was. When I'm done, and I just put this mat on top of this mat, so you can actually stack your mats and not have to have two places to put them. I have found that every time I do applique, I like the mat without the lines. This is the biggest of the mats. This one here is the smaller one. So it's half the size of that. And you can't see that. Let's see. This is the basic glow. And then there's the premium in a box. They sent me to do an unboxing video, which I'll be doing soon. So know that I listened to all of your questions and your requests and your pleadings, and that it's sometimes better to just do a whole video on a specific topic, and so I'm going to do it. And if you have this size, the smaller one, and you have one of these spinning mats, you can put it on top of it and then have the benefit of the light and the cutting ability, and then have the Lazy Susan capability with your cutter pillar. I love to make you want things. Actually, I just love for you to see how fun things can be. All right, I know what I need. I need my glasses. Thank you, Susan. I mean, Sandra. Because I knew right where they were. I've learned. And you know what I love about it is I can't even tip it over if I try. That's so cool. So we'll be sewing some beads around the heart. That's my plan. But remember, I didn't get to test it again. Okay, so I got to cut this thread. And this is when your machine comes with a scissor button. If it does, I do not use it, because you'll end up cutting your bobbin thread. You don't want to do that because then you have to bring it back up again. I laugh at myself a lot. I would tell you all the jokes that are in my head, but here we go. By the way, Sandra Young never sleeps. She's up all the time. Anytime I wake up, there's Sandra. Which means I don't sleep very much. And I'm accused of that all the time. So you're right. I do have an interesting sleep pattern. Something's in my eye. You bought the 23 by 60? Something's in my eye. So the stuff you sprayed on it made it not smell so bad. I almost tossed my cookies. But I would never use that wool mat on top of these because it does not block moisture at all. I mean, it dripped all the way through. It was very wet underneath. I'm sorry, Sandy. The thing is I find good products, and that's what I carry. There's a lot more. Wait till the new site's done. See, I shouldn't have talked about the batting fuzz, because I was like, it'd be so nice not to have any batting fuzz. And so there is, again. It's everywhere. I was going to run, I have this vacuum, I have the rainbow vacuum. You would love one of those too, especially if you have asthma. All the water goes in, or all the air, all the stuff in the air goes into water. And you can clean and pull the batting out of the air. Except for I can't run it while I'm live. I recommend that you also reduce your speed control. I'm going to show you that. Come on. If I can just find it. I'll try to pretend it's not bothering me. If you have a sewing machine with... Is this the wrong one? It's the wrong size font, facing the wrong way. Ooh, sorry. It's a good thing I cleaned. So on this machine, this is my, I was going to say cruise control, but it's speed control. And this is all the way fast, and I recommend that you take it down. I put my fingernail in there like that. That's about, so it's a little bit more than half. It's like 3/4 speed. Especially when you're learning. And the reason for that is that you won't feel like you don't have to think about your speed control. You don't have to think about how fast you're running the machine. And if you could put your foot all the way down is on, then you're not thinking, like when you drive your car and there's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, there's a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. You push your foot on the pedal, you look at the dial, the gauge that tells you how fast you're going, and then you kind of lock your foot, and then you drive for a while, right? And hopefully there's no one in the car that you're having a fun conversation with, because your foot might start to push down on the pedal. That's how I got a ticket once. My mom and I were having a great conversation. Okay, I gotta thread my needle. When your presser foot lever is up, the tension discs are open. Okay, so this is 100 weight. Now I'm doing 80 weight. And we gotta lower the foot, because if you don't, the tension discs are not closed on the thread, and then your thread will fall. It'll just go fall to the underneath, creating that thing that people call a bird's nest. Okay, that camera's already set. Just need to... I wish I could just use the big camera. Why is it all fuzzy? It's fuzzy because of internet connection. This camera is wirelessly connected. So we can wait a little while. But we're live. Whoop. That's better. So now as I'm sewing, I'm going to draw. So before I draw like this, I draw like this. And one of my students, Larry, had a great idea. She has all the shapes that you would want to quilt, and she has it on a piece of paper, and she put it underneath her caterpillar mat. And so then she takes the handle and goes over the top of it and draws over the line to practice, to rehearse the movement of your fingers. It's very clever. It's basically the same motion that you do when you write with a pen. Put your hand down and you move your fingers. You don't put the pen down, lift your elbow, grab your other elbow, lift them both up, lean down, and move like this. And that is in essence what you do, overly emphasized, without our hoops. So once you get the hang of holding this handle, and think of it, remember before I said, look at this hand and go, your job is to hold the frames together? So when you hold this one, You look at this hand and you go and tapping. And I know it sounds silly, but it really does help. I go, your job is to write. And it goes, okay, and talk for it. Your job is to hold the frames together. Remind them they need your help. And elbows down, shoulders relaxed. My eyes got fuzz still in it. Oh, no whining. Oh, you know what? I have my no whining bracelet. This is a rubber band by Kiss, I believe. I just snapped myself. That's how you stop yourself from whining. And then draw. Remember, this is the inside of the heart, so no one will see it. So you're, in essence, wasting thread. But you're not stressed out because you can't mess up. If no one's going to see it, no one's going to see it. No one's going to see it. Doesn't matter what I do. I can doodle. What can you doodle? Whatever you can doodle with your machine. And I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see the difference between the thread, because this is about Sandy wanting to see the difference. You can thank Sandy for this. Sandy has a lot of questions. And I love your questions, you guys. It's really just ask. Can't read your minds. At least not. I'm not going to admit to that anyway. So you watch here. And this is like a paisley shape. So you do a little like single petal. And I know that the cell phone would be much better for this. And then you do another one a bit bigger. And then you can come down in the middle and do another one. And you just keep going. Small, medium. And you can make them different shapes. And you can use sound effects, because I tend to do that. Even when I'm alone. Especially when I'm alone. I'll be like going do 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 do. Oh, there's that song. And then I go. It becomes play. It really does. Once you stop stressing, when you start having fun with it. So that's a easy design, which is, I think you can kind of see it. I think I can get a better angle if I lift this up. Oh, it's heavy. I don't know how these vloggers hold these in their hand. But they do. Oy. Did that help or make it worse? Can you see the shape better? There we go. Also, a lot of you thinking hand needles. Oh. Hand needle for needle turn applique, 10. You can get the Applique hand sewing needles if you want to do it by hand. But I'm going to show you how to do needle turn applique by machine. Because we can. You love the paisley? Brenda loves her inks. I love my inks. Alright, so I'm having a lot of fun doing the paisley. But it's all about trying different colors, or not colors, sizes of threads. If you move, you saw how I scoot? Did you guys see how I should say. It's harder to sew in the middle, so in the center, for the machine. You want to kind of, if you stay like right here, it's easier to see as well if it's closer to you. And you're not locked. You don't have to sit there till you fill in the whole area, but you can if you want. So you basically just scoot the frames to work your way around. And back down, elbows down, shoulders relax. Make sure you're not laying on your quilt, and it'll be tempting because it's so comfy. Oh, Donna has to go. Bye, Donna. See you in school. You'll have your chocolate. Okay, she promised. All right, this machine is so noisy. So squeaky. And it isn't that it needs oil. I just don't remember it ever being that noisy. The faster you run the machine, this is stippling. Stippling is kind of swirling around, never going back over where you were. And it's what's considered a fill. So you fill in areas with it that aren't detailed. See, I just scooted again. And so over here, I really do need to like move it this way. Oh, that wasn't hard. Oh, it scrolls real easy. So see, the quilting is out here. That's where I started. And I didn't cut my tail. Cut your tails. Be good. Because it distracts you. And then you won't sew as well. Because there's a tail. So elbow down. Grab the corner. Elbows down. Shoulders relax. Kind of. I could sure use a nap right now. There we go. Do you know that I never looked outside today? I usually open the windows, let the sun come in, give the puppies some sunshine. I totally forgot. I was so excited to do this because we're doing the Octi-Hoops. That's how much I love it. And if you guys keep on it, you'll feel the same way. Got to pay attention to where my line is. I went outside of the heart. Uh-oh. That's the one stitch someone will see. I'm going to switch now to the next thread. Because that's what we're doing. We're testing, showing the difference between the different weights of thread. Raise the foot. Cut the needle thread. Do not cut the bobbin thread, because then you'll have to bring it up again. See, these are things I say. Don't cut the bobbin thread, Claire. Don't use the scissors. No, don't use the scissor button. And I sometimes don't stop myself. And I'm like, darn it, I did it again. This is the 40 weight. And this one you should be able to see. It's an electric color. And it's a big giant cone. And it does go on my thread dispenser. Sorry if I made you dizzy. So through all these cords, there's the big spool. And then there's an eye hook up here. I go up over the eye hook. And then I just forget it's there. Come across. There's my hand. Now I gotta thread the machine. Just pretend the thread's on the machine itself, or the spool. And then I always hold with my finger as I thread through. That way it doesn't get tangled inside the machine, which can happen. Sometimes you guys have problems and you just have no idea what happened. And I just wish I could be there and go, oh, it's just because you did this. Don't do that again. And then when you stop doing it, hey, let me know how you stopped, because I make these mistakes. I do. Even when you know what to do, you can forget, because you get loopy. We get into our project, and it's so much fun. Okay, that camera's got to catch up, because it's live. Don't look there, look there. Now let's see. My dog's snoring. Chase is snoring. Okay. So now I once again lower the foot and thread my needle. Raise the foot again to pull it out, because the tension discs are closed when the foot lever is down. Now if I try to sew, my machine will warn me that my foot is not down. But if you have a mechanical machine, yours won't. So just remember, when you're doing free motion, to always give your machine a love pat. Make sure that the presser foot, or the foot lever is down. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. It'd be nice if I was there looking over your shoulder. You want to bet? When I teach live and I come up behind someone, they're like, it's so funny. It's like, come on. Did any of you ever take typing? If you took typing in school and the teacher would get behind you, you couldn't type. You're like, a minute ago, I swear, I was typing really good. And then you walked up. Look at that. I can't get my bobbin thread to come up. I mean, I can't get it to make a stitch. So what is going on? Ugh, that has been in there so long now. I probably pulled and made the bobbin thread long. Nope, I cut my bobbin thread. I used the scissor button, see? That's why I don't use it. I cut the bobbin thread so short, it's still there. And if I were just sewing with a foot, it'd be no problem at all. But free motion, we need more thread than that. Where are my tweezers? They're right where they belong. I didn't put my scissors back. If I could step away, go to the bathroom. I don't have any card for you guys to read. Oh, we have a winner though from last week. Oh my goodness. Whatever that batting has decided to lace itself in my eyelashes. So I just need to pull some of that bobbin thread up. And I can close it right back up again. If your machine doesn't have a scissor button, you won't have that problem because you'll leave your thread long or you won't have cut it because you don't have a button where you can just go, cut my thread, and it goes, yes, I will, and then it cuts the bobbin. You'll be just cutting the top thread. Okay, I want you to see the stitch, but I also want you to see my hand positioning. Beneath is the other frame. It is loose, not connected to the top one. Top one is not connected to the bottom one. It's kind of reminds me of that song. The finger bone's connected to the hand bone. Maybe if we read this while I do this, I can get that batting out of my eyelash. Yeah, you can be typing really, really good, and then someone walks in and suddenly you make mistakes. And that's because when you're typing really good, you're using the autonomic function of the brain. And then when someone comes in, you're back to left brain, right brain, where we're not as smart or skilled. That's why I recommend that you watch a movie but don't watch it. Listen to it while you're doing this. Or sing along. Sing a song. Sing. That's a good song to sing. Oh, gotta bring the bobbin thread up. Almost forgot. This has been an interesting challenge, using all these different machines that I haven't used in a while. Okay, bobbin thread is up. Love pat. Stitch a little. Then cut that thread. Snip those tails. And just so you know, because last week I was like saying, some of you think this fabric isn't trash. I just want you to know that I agree. I have a bag of scraps. Even the slightest scrap goes in that bag. It's fabric. There goes the batting. They're like birds flying in the air. Here we go. This is another stitch I really enjoy. Now we're on 40 weight thread. And I'm going to take the tension down to 2.5 on this machine because it's thicker than the bobbin thread. So this is like a shell. I went like that. Then I went back out. And then you can just keep going and create a big circle. So now I'll come in. Notice that my hand, it's my fingers that's doing the steering. This hand's job is to what? To hold the frames together. This hand's job is to draw. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. La da da. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Come into the middle, come out. This is a really cool stitch. Come into the middle. Okay, well, I can't do it while I talk. I'm going to bring the camera in closer. But see, elbows down. I'm relaxed. I'm not really thinking too much about what I'm doing, which could end up making a really messy looking thing. But it doesn't matter because we're going to stitch over it. Let's see if I can get better light without covering it up. Oh, bring it closer. But then I'm not sitting right. I'll do it for a little bit. Just so you guys can see better what I do for you. I had the hardest time sleeping last night because I couldn't wait to do this. I couldn't wait to quilt. I can't believe I say that because a long time ago I would say it was the last thing I ever wanted to do because I would be so physically sore from pushing down and moving like that. And I was so bad. It was so hard to get the stitches to look uniformed. And so what you're not realizing is I'm not paying attention to that. I'm just writing. And if you think about your stitch length, you'll have a harder time achieving it. And because you're the feed dogs, you're the stitch length. So come in, go around. Come to a point, come around. Slide, scooting the bottom frame over. Trying to keep my stitching always along the inner border of the frames. Pebble is a circle, and I generally go around twice. Set and focus at the needle. Circle, circle. And then we got 2 circles side by side, and then we're going to do another circle and have part of the circle touch this one and part of the circle touch that one. This would be a lot easier for me if I were centered. Slow down. You don't have to go fast. See how nice and pretty that looks? Now we're going to connect again. It looks like a lion. It's like the clouds. I see shapes. Okay, circle. And then I can go bigger. And double around. You know why I go twice around? No one can see where you started. And then it's harder to see any mistakes. And there really isn't a mistake unless you tell them it's a mistake. Because nobody knows but you what you're doing. Circle, 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 circle. Sound weird? Circle. If you tell yourself that, you'll draw a circle. If you don't say the shape while you're sewing, you could end up with ovals and egg shapes. Be ridiculous. Go, I want to sew circles. I want to sew circles. Can you please give me some circles? I would really like circles. And he goes, okay. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. This is supposed to be fun. Circle. I'm tired of holding that handle. You just sit like this then, and you continue. Circle. Circle. Oops, supposed to go around twice. Circle. Circle. And if you ever saw me at a show, I would be thinking circle, circle while I was sewing at the show, while talking to you guys. It's amazing. I miss you guys so much. It's so much more fun to be in each other's company. This is almost like it, right? What is this? I can't read it. Depends what's happening. You did well in school. Someone watching you typing. When you got into nursing school, you were nervous. Yeah. I have some nursing background. I was nervous a lot. It's a lot harder when there's someone's life in your hands. Yeah, I do too. In my bathroom, I've seen several different faces. And I'm like, I really need to draw that because that's a cool face. And there's some really weird worms that are down in the ocean that are so cute. They're ugly, but they're adorable. And I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of fun to quilt. LOL. So when I think I'm going to click and then whenever you write something, it moves up. And then, so something was funny. Honestly, when I taught 127 people and I stood behind people and I did the hoops, actually at the beginning of the class, I said, I'm going to come up and I'm going to say stop and you won't. And I'm going to say stop and you're not going to. And I'm going to say it again and again. And I may have to say it as many as 8 times before you actually stop. Okay, you guys are talking. And so as the show went on, the class, I said, I told you that you wouldn't stop. And they go, I really didn't. Why didn't I stop? It's so rude. I can't believe I didn't stop when you told me to stop. This puts you into like your 2-year-old brain and it becomes so much fun. It really does. Just think I'm doodling. I'm doodling. Don't make it so important. All right, what should I do? A feather? I'm going to tell you how to do a feather. And this is just like a montage of quilt shapes. But we're in the heart, so it's okay. We can do whatever we want. Oh my gosh, I'm on 2 hours already? God, the time just flies. So how you do a feather is you go up the stem, come back down over the stem, which without the Octi-Hoops is really hard to not go a distance away from your stem. And then you go, and I say teardrop, teardrop, teardrop. This will be a good video for you guys to pause and rewind. Teardrop, teardrop. I can do a bigger one than this, but I'm in the heart and I'm trying not to go outside of it till I'm ready. Oh, I better speed up. So teardrop, teardrop, and teardrop, and teardrop. So the bigger the teardrop, or I have to move my fingers that far. So some of you feel like there's something wrong because you can't do a big shape. Well, your fingers are only so long, so you have to plot it out. You'll get better if you keep trying. Ah, I went outside the heart. Dang it. Ah. It's not supposed to matter. I can hear one of you thinking that. You're not supposed to care. I need to get over there. Now, I can either keep pushing the fabric over this way, or I can just plant my finger and spin the hoop around. Because the quilt's small. On a big quilt, we have other challenges that we'll deal with. And we will do that once I finish piecing my quilt. So I have a quilt to quilt. And I should really show you the difference. I don't want to stop. See, this is what happens. You won't want to stop. It's kind of like doodling. And doodling is stress release. It's fun. It's just simply fun. So you can also do straight lines if you can draw a straight line. Oh, that's dark. That's better. All right, so I'm going to draw a straight line. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? In my mind, I'm picturing the shape. I don't do straight lines as often, so I'm quiet. because I'm having to use my brain instead of the autonomic area of the brain. Pretty cool though, huh? Geometric shapes. Easy peasy. Who needs rulers? I don't need a ruler. You want to draw something first? Then you just draw something first. Ugh, that's terrible. Ah, sorry. Boy, am I dramatic today. Alright, I'm just going to draw something here. I'm going to write. How's that? So if you had something to trace, you could trace the writing using the caterpillar before you put your quilt sandwich together. And I really shouldn't take so long, but I'm going to show you anyway. I'll just do a small one. That's why I chose a small box, because I knew myself. If I did the big box, we'd be here till 7 o'clock. Because I love you guys. This is my day to mess off, or mess around, not mess off. Look at that big tail. Got a big old tail there. See that? Because I decided to move the quilt to right. So I'm going to bring it back. And then I grab over here, grab the spool or the thread and pull it back to the spool with the foot up and then lower it back down. And then there's no loop. Eyeballs twitching because the batting is in my eye now. Oh gosh. Maybe the batting wouldn't get on my eyelash if I wore my glasses. I can see. There's a song that plays in my head every time I do that. All right, so I wrote "so" in like a graffiti kind of writing. So I'm just tracing. So if you say I'm tracing, your job is to trace. It's like, okay. And outline. Notice the machine is running slow because I need to draw slow because my eyesight limits how fast I can sew and see and follow a line. You should not be able to do this really fast. Not right at the beginning anyway. You guys might get better than me. That's my goal. I want you guys to be better than me. I want you to blow me away. You've always forgot to mark your top before. That's why people sell templates. Because you're not the only one. Can you see that? Oh, you can't see that. Jeez. Sorry about that. See so? Why'd that sound so funny to me? I'll show you in a minute. Let's finish this. Okay, I should probably stop. No one's gonna see it anyway. Is there any other particular thing you guys wanted to see how I do? Any shape? Yeah, I know everybody's looking forward to this. I would have, like, some people have like 50 quilt tops they've never quilted. And I was like, you could send me one of those, but that's too much stress for me. I'm not in the business of quilting someone else's quilt. It's still in there. I'm actually only touching, it's not acrylic or polyester, it's bamboo. So I'm pretty sure my eye won't get scratched from it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up the winner. And I am going to go to the mirror. Because it's just annoying. I'm not thinking it straight because of it. Last week's winner. Wait a minute. Where is... That thing shouldn't stay on. Why do they stay on? Love your music. Hope you're not talking about my humming and stuff. My chicken dance song. Bye, Laura. Okay, so there we go. So Tina is the winner. I'll be right back. Yay. Couldn't even see it. Here it is. Hello, everybody. Yay. Thank you for pushing me to do that. I almost have no mascara left. This is going to get even better because they're going to let us have videos that we can share while we're doing this. So if I needed to step away, I could play a little video and you wouldn't be bored at all. Of course, that's one more thing to learn. Oh, I don't know what song I sang because I never know what song I'm singing. Odds are it'll come up again. So should I finish a little bit more? Oh, I know you guys will go, keep going. Don't stop. Keep sewing. So I'm going to do a little bit more of this shape. Oh, I was going to show you the difference between the threads. So now I'm uncomfortable. And this is when you might go, I don't even know what to do right now. What do I do? How do I move? And so you just have to kind of take your hands off and then just push your bottom frame over, push your top frame over. And then gradually you'll fill it all in. Or you could even go like this and go around the pattern that's on the fabric. I really enjoy doing that because it's super hard normally. It's not like a quilting machine can do that automatically with a computer, right? So, all right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to quilt the area that I should. So I'm going to go over there. Because we are going to have some quilting. You warmed up. Now you're ready to quilt. Now you're ready to quilt the area that's going to show. And since it's Valentine's Day, I got to plot it out first in my brain. I'm going to draw hearts. So my brain has to think, where do I go? I'm stalled. Why? Because I didn't do this. So come down. That's what I'm going to do. So you're rehearsing. And now suddenly you'll know what to do. So that's a heart. Can I do another heart? I can, but oh, gotta move. Elbows down, shoulders relax. Make sure you're not laying on anything. Start where you left off. I'm drawing with my fingers. And remember, it's a candy box for yourself, or unless you're giving it away. Then you may not want to do hearts right away until you've practiced a lot of hearts. In other words, you might want to do hearts all in the middle. But I love quilting hearts because I just love hearts. If you can't tell by my lessons so far. And it's okay to go back over where you already were, as long as you're where you already were. In other words, if you have the control to actually go down a line and come back over your line, then it looks really nice. It's actually really nice. In fact, that's how I did this. This is coming up. This will be a course. That won't be one of the free classes inside of Create with Clare Rowley. And it's a quilt I designed called Hearts and Feathers. And they're not the normal shape of feathers. I'll pan out here a little bit. And it's a quilt as you go. So once you see how to quilt a king size quilt, you will soon go, hey, what about quilting as you go? Because then it's not such a big deal. We quilt and do all this fancy quilting, and then one square at a time, we sew them back together, and people won't know that you didn't quilt separately. Isn't that pretty? You guys like that? That's 40 weight thread, and I went over it 3 times. So once around, twice around, 3 times around, then I went here and there, and that's why you can see it's smaller there, the stitch, but it's the same thread from here to there. All I did was go over it multiple times, because with the Octi-Hoops, because your hand is down and you're just drawing, you can trace if you can trace on a piece of paper. Mostly because your hand is actually down. So when your hand is down, you're more coordinated, aren't you? You can do it, you guys. You really can. You just got to start. Get ready so you can take that class. Then we'll start really having some fun. I'm glad you like that. Yeah, it's not the traditional heart shapes. I mean, feather shapes. I got hearts on the brain. I got to hurry or you're not going to have a box. And that's one of the things I vow is that I'm going to finish the project or I stay on. I know you guys take classes and you never finish. So I don't want to do that to you. So I'm going to the point of the heart, and then I make the heart. Come back to the point. Go back over. Come back to the point. Come out. Go to the point of the heart. Come back down. And if I weren't talking to you, I'd be talking to me. Here we go. Wait till you see one of the squares that we do in that. All right. I don't want to get you too excited because we're not ready yet. You're already on my case for that king size quilt. But you see I've made rigging in the room just to do it. So think about that. When you're going to do your own king size quilt, you need to be able to, you can hang eye hooks from your ceiling, like 4 of them. I'm going to teach you. I'm not going to tell you. Just keep getting more people added to the list of, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Heart. Back to the point. Ooh, that one's sloppy. No one's going to know, though. Most people, if they looked at this at a glance, wouldn't even see hearts. You have to point it out and go, that's hearts, because their mind can't even believe it. Heart. And heart. Elbows down, shoulders relax. Scoot it. This is how I wear my fingernails down, because I scoot, and fabric is abrasive. The camera or the microphone paused, and it made it sound like I burped. Definitely pays to listen, though, because I think the last episode, the microphone stopped for a while, and if I was listening, I would have known. We're good. It just took 3 computers, 4 cameras. You think it's lovely, the hearts? And here we go. Draw. And sometimes I just go, oh, I'm just tired of holding that handle. And then I'll just quilt one-handed. Sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it either. I'll just drop my hand. I'll just put the hand down and keep quilting. I never thought I'd ever say these words. I just want you to know that. The Octi-Hoops make quilting comfortable and easy. But you gotta want it bad enough. See there, my microphone just lagged. So the Octi-Hoops make it comfortable, healthy. So when I say healthy, it's because your elbows are down. You won't get that burning in between your shoulder blades. You won't get stiff, sore hands. I mean, in the beginning, your hands may be a little stiff because you guys have been squeezing all of your pens all these years. Because if you don't squeeze, as you push down, it slides out of your fingers. So you've always had to squeeze your pens, pencils, crayons, any writing instrument. Or you couldn't get the ink to release. See, I'm not getting any ink to come out. But I got to push down in order for it to come out. Oh, you can't see. You can drag a pen on a surface and not get any ink to come out. You have to push down to get it to come out. That's why writing makes you sore. It's not your fault. So since there's no ink coming out of that, you don't have to squeeze it. My eye feels so much better. I feel so much better. Okay. Elbows down, shoulders relax. Make a heart. Come to the point. Get to the point. Make a heart. Get to the point. Make it fun. Make yourself giggle. You'll remember better. Oh, this is so cool, you guys. If we didn't even have all the stuff in the middle, okay, you know what? That's what it's going to look like because we're going to cover it if I ever get done. Promise is a promise. Okay, heart. Heart. I would have been more ready if I weren't getting Rosie ready to be my helper. And I haven't seen her pop in, but she could be watching. If you are watching, say hey in the chat, even though we can't have you on camera right now. All right, so here's the point of the heart, and that would be kind of fun to break the unification or the direction all the hearts are going and make that heart be upright. So I'm going to do that because I can. Here we go. Got to think though. No, got to trace, got to practice, rehearse, come down and come up. And that's what I want to do. Okay, brain? Got that? It's like, yes, I do. All right, let's see if I practiced enough. Another thing that you need to know is I am not looking at the needle. I don't look at the needle when I sew. Come in closer. Wrong way. When you work with cameras and you're looking at the screen, everything is backwards. So it's tricky. Tricky on the brain. I forgot what I was saying before that. Maybe I can remember. Oh, I don't look at the needle. I look where I'm going. Just like when you walk, you don't look at your feet because you'd fall over. Because if you look at your feet, you're already there. It's too late. You're going to walk into the wall. So when you're sewing, if you look at the needle, it's too late. You're already there. So you got to look where you're going. So I look where I'm going and I move in that direction. Very important to try to remember that. And then forget everything I say and just have fun. Eventually, if you keep going, it will become easier and easier. So on this half, the hearts are all pointing that way. And on this half, they're all pointing the other way. It just works out that way. Yeah, didn't even have to think about it. But I have to think now because I have to come back the other way, which is not the same as what I was doing. So what am I going to do? I'm going to rehearse. See, I take the time. Do not rush. And my speed is set, remember, 30% lower than normal speed. And I have elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Now I just went around that heart twice. And if I were really working hard on this, I probably would go around every heart twice because it would be prettier. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Get uncomfortable. Don't stay uncomfortable. Shake it all out. Put your finger down. Figure out where you need the hoops to be to not contort your body. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Do any of you like hear me in your dreams going elbows down, shoulders relaxed? Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Oops. Gotta be able to see. We're having a Valentine's party. Are any of you working on this tonight? You guys gonna make it? I hope so. I expect pictures in the school. In the right place, which is inside of the Fabrically Speaking group, inside of Create with Clare Rowley. Free place to go. Post your pictures in there. Once this, I'll go in and I'll fix the art and it'll be the real project, and then your project's below it. I'll bet some of your work's better than mine when it's over. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. I've started going around twice, and that's what I would have done. There's lots of things you could do. You can make a fancier heart than I'm doing here. And if you're like, I can't even draw a stick figure, what do you mean? Then you can trace first. But the only way you get good at drawing hearts is by drawing hearts. And I do not do them perfect. The person watching or seeing this will not see the flaws. They will see the overall project. I think this headphone in my ear is starting to lose its charge. Which means I've been on too long. 4:30, 2.5 hours. Still not the longest I've been on. People used to ask me, how do you sit there for 7 hours at the show? Like this. I invented these things because it's something I enjoy. Nothing makes me happier than knowing you guys could experience the same joy. So I'm finished with the hearts. And now to finish tying off, I'm going into the center, and that'll tie that knot. It'll be secure. But hey, it's a box. So no one's going to wear it. Oops. It's the scissor button that I want to hit. Oh, it's so noisy. Sorry. And then give you a look of the surface. There's an area I didn't quilt. Ooh, I want to quilt it. And you can see that all of this is just like messy. But that's because I didn't have a plan. And then you see the uniformity in, where is that? In the hearts going around. Where's my hand? Oh, there it is. Oh, well, I'll do it afterward. But we were doing this whole test. Invisifil, 100 weight thread. This is a good spot to see because I only used it a little bit. Ah, that's how you ruin your needle. Oh, when I taught that 127 people class, 6 people broke their needle. I was one of them. And I'm going to tell you how. None of them were running the machine when they broke. They picked up the hoop and went like this. And the needle is not normally able to be seen because you have a foot generally in your way. So be mindful when you remove everything that you don't hit the needle with your hoop. Another thing is to not pick the quilt up as you're pulling it out. Like put your finger down here so it slides out. Because if you hear the tip of the needle scratch on the surface, it is damaging that needle. And it will start cutting the fabric instead of pushing fibers aside. So we'll pull this back a little. Hey, there we go. That was easier than before. So you can see the hearts. They're not all the same. This is the top of the heart. Fold that under. That's the top of the heart. And had I positioned the hoop, had I flipped it and been looking at the heart right side, I would have done a better job. But no one's going to care. Because now we're going to do this. We're going to cover that up. Ooh, you know what? Some of it is going to show. So now you know. Some of it's going to show because this is actually smaller. But it's a box. Now I want to finish. Okay, so needle turn applique is what we're doing now. Because that wasn't enough. If only I didn't care about keeping my promises. I could stop. We're going to use the Applique glue for this. I had a hard time finding it last time, but I think I put it in here. Nope. Is it in this one? So you guys loving your bowls? Boxy bowls? If you want to make one of these and you have the Octi-Hoops and you didn't see the episode where we use the Octi-Hoops as the pattern to make these, and they're nesting, so they're different sizes. Trying to remember who had that great sample. Just know my issue is with names. I'm challenged in that. I'm getting better, right? That's what you're supposed to say. I'm getting better at remembering names. These are the Applique tools. Her glue. And Rosa is the owner and inventor of these things. She's a friend of mine. We like to drink wine together. She drinks Moscato. She's from Spain. We haven't been able to see each other since the shows have all been canceled. Oh, that's right. I'm going to do this right. Because I can feel her going, get your notebook out. All right. And I found it. I have a notebook just for doing Applique stuff. It had just been so long since I did it that I had forgotten about it. The nice thing about using these little machines is I can just slide it away. And now you can watch. Are you guys still there? Any questions? I'm not surprised Sandy's making lots of comments. She's fast typer. How fast do you type? I think she types fast. And if you do that fast on your phone, that's amazing. Because I'm so slow on the phone. Sometimes I don't answer you guys right away. I'll like do a heart inside of the school. And you might feel gypped that I didn't answer a question. That's me just letting you know I saw it. And I didn't have my glasses. And there's no way I'm going to answer you on my cell phone going like that. Because I'm 58. So we take the heart. Put it on a paper. Ah, sorry about that. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Roll up your sleeves. I usually have a damp washcloth, which I don't. So, and the reason is because we're going to be using glue, and we're going to be putting it on our tools, or it'll get on your tools, and you can wipe it off. So there's some on there from the last time. I do have water. Just don't. This is my water from my iron. I'm always trying not to get up. Yeah, keep this ball rolling. I was trying to think of something funny. More batting. I love batting though. Okay, so I'm just going to put some water on this so that I can wipe. Don't get it on my cutter pillar. All right, now we're ready. I don't remember putting this here. Did I type something? I don't think so. Definitely not something I'm used to having in the sewing room. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, this is the Applique glue, and it's the white one. And the white one lasts or stays moist longer. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to feel rushed. I think I'll start, haha, caught that piece. We'll start at the point. And I'm pretty sure we have to clip. If Rosa was here, I would just let her boss me around, tell me what to do. This is how I would normally do it. Come to the point, not all the way, and then I'm going to make a V. Clip here, clip here. This would be better for the little ones. Where are they? And I'm not trying to make you want all 3 scissors, but there's a reason she has 3. So these clip easier all the way up to the point. And I don't think you need to do any more clipping than that. And you may not have even needed to do that. No, pretty sure. Theoretically. So I'm putting it on the actual stabilizer. And then you pick up the tools. And these tools have, this one's a spatula. And I'm right-handed, so the spatula will be in my right hand. And this spatula replaces the scooping that you would do normally. This action, you can tolerate this for a little while, but after a while, you can start to have calcification in the joints and lose some of that mobility. So that's what these do, replace that movement that you would have to do. This is your 2 fingers that you would put down to do that. So these are your fingers extended, and they're chubby in the middle, which is better for your hands. You're not having to squeeze, so if you have arthritis, it works better. And then you put your 2 fingers down there, and you just spatula up. And I didn't put very much glue down, so. But what I'm showing you is the hardest point first. Nice and smooth. And now I'm going to do more. See how fast we can do this. I spread it out way farther than I needed. And we don't want to do that because we're going to stuff this. I don't know how I did that. Remember, this is the white glue. See, I'm talking to myself. This is the white glue. It lasts longer. It stays moist longer. So you don't have to rush. So breathe, relax, elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Everything that you do, your back will thank you. I have a song in my head. I have this ability to play some songs. We're not allowed to legally just play any songs we want while live. But know that when I do something like this, I'm going to put some music in my computer so I stop singing to you. So this is definitely one of those moments. See, I'm just going around. It's so easy. Smooth it. Hands feel good. Light touch. Not pushing down. You pick one toe up and you can spin it. Put the toes down. Can't move it at all. Scoop it. Scoop it. I hear the chicken song in my head. Have any of you used the tools yet? This will give you a reason to do it. You could just applique with regular if you want. Or you could just quilt. And not even put a heart on top. This is all about Valentine's Day. I didn't get any glue on there. That's why it's not sticking. Who's teaching? Should put the lid on. So why did she have me use this book idea? Because when you're cutting your fabric, you can have your fabric cuts over here and you glue over here. And you cut over here and you glue over there. So you don't get glue on your pieces till you're ready. She's quite clever. Another part is the point. And that allows you to just kind of really manipulate and do little creases and squish it. And I'm holding one of those toes in the point. I'm sure she has a faster way of doing this. Should she ever see this video, she'll giggle. Or she'll go, "Oh, Claire." I actually am a member of Epidemic Sam. So next week, I'm going to try really hard to have some music. Of course, I talk. Then you can squish and hold for a little bit. But we don't want to build a big pile of fabric. It'd be better to spread it out. Because your needle is going to go here, right along the edge. Flatten out. It's getting harder for me to follow up with all your questions after, because these videos are long. In order to find all your questions, I have to watch the video all over again. So don't hesitate if I don't catch a question to ask it in the school. That's the whole point of the school. Ask me, ask me, ask me. It's better for you to ask me there in the particular topic. So this would be what? What are we doing right now? We're watching what? Fabrically Speaking live. So you ask your questions about this episode in that group inside of the school, which just opened. I don't remember. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before. So if you don't remember seeing the group for the show, well, it's there now. Is anyone doing the work right now? Have any of you already cut out your heart and got it ready? I forgot to tell you you needed this. But you could do with our fuse and do a satin stitch applique or a blanket stitch applique. I'm kind of bummed because I made the heart too small. I messed up. I do that sometimes. Darn it. I prefer to be perfect. Well, I don't really know what it feels like, so I think I would prefer to be perfect. Sounds like a good idea. But we will never know. And there you go. A turned under heart. Isn't that really awesome? I love it. Curves are usually difficult. You're usually taught to clip, 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 clip all the way around. Snip all the way around. You don't have to with her stuff. The Applique rods. There's a helicopter outside. Used to be regular occurrence, but not so much anymore. Now we're going to secure that to here. This is my first try. And I haven't forgotten about the mug hut. Someone came up with that idea. Kind of like the sound of it. And know that I realized how silly I was last week, that making a box, even if it's on its side, where it has only one side open, it's exactly the same as what we did, except for the size is different, the proportions are different. So the pattern will come out soon. In fact, I really was trying to do it before this episode, but we're working on the new site. Once my to-do list shrinks. So now we're going to use the liquid base glue. And I'm going to get that puppy tacked down better. And what we use this for is to hold it down to this fabric. We'll go around. This time I'm going all the way around. I'm not rubbing in. Sometimes people think I'm smushing it into the fabric, but what we want is we want the glue to stay on the surface. So we go around. Yes, I'm sounding funny because I hear music in my head. Eva, did you leave and come back? I can't remember. One of you were saying that you were going to leave and come back. I haven't stopped and looked at questions in a while, but I don't think you're asking them. I think you guys are just chatting with each other, right? Looks like it. I'm going to make videos on the school too to help you guys use it better. There's some quirky things about it, but we can learn. We had to learn all the other social media. Just know I struggle too with that. Here we go. So now I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. It's like, how did I mess up so much? Oh well. What would have been wise was for me to put the inside of this thing over it before I quilted, so I knew what part was going to show. Because there's areas here that's a what. Oh well, that's what you should do. Put you over here. We're going to have to do... I hate not to do something. It's almost 3 hours. I have a limit. We'll just do the pearls and stuff maybe on another video. I am thinking about doing recaps, like Tuesdays. A Tuesday, I hate to commit to a day right now. I dropped my scissors. Tuesdays is what I'm leaning toward. To follow up after the show. In the school. In a... where you guys go on camera too. Questions and answers. Pick my brain kind of thing. More of this, but you can actually speak. I'm getting the Satinedge Foot out, and this is when I would switch to a 11 needle. Because we don't want our stitch to show. Yeah. And I really don't. It's bad enough I got stuff showing. This is a super universal. And I scratched the tip. It's devastating. Such a good needle. And I always put my needle into fabric before throwing it in the trash. Like that. So that it doesn't, I don't know, it just feels safer. Like it won't poke a hole in a bag or find its way into my foot. Needle. I just so happen to have one. 7010. Not in focus. Well, that's why I couldn't see it. So it's a 7010 universal, just the regular universal. Because the super universals are 8012 and 9014. This is the poster tack that I use to put on the back, especially if I'm not planning on using this needle again. Then I will secure this to my machine, like somewhere. Trying to show you like that. There's a link to that under every video. I use it for all kinds of things. It's handy. Oh, I just poked myself. So with a 7010 needle, you're not supposed to use your needle threader. The size of the metal that pushes through the needle is too big to go through that. This is how you'll break your needle threader, using a needle threader on too small of a needle. This is another instance where we're going to change thread. We don't want our stitch to show. The whole idea is to look like it was hand sewn when it's finished. So I'm going to use invisible thread in the needle. You don't have to in the bobbin. And guess what? I know where my clear is. And our lingerie thread is about to return. Oh, I can't wait. Then I'm going to start teaching you more about that. Why there is nylon lingerie thread. Even if you're not going to sew lingerie. How to know which thread to use. We know not to turn the microphone down. If you've been watching the show long enough. So we have two threads here. You can't see one because it's the right color. It's on the pink. There's two threads in my hand. Do you see one? The one you see is the clear. And that tells you you don't want to use that one. Clear is the least used of the invisible thread. It is for like white and pastel. And this is smoke, and it's actually laying there. You just can't see it. Ta-da! And that is what you're going for. Okay, I gotta not do this. I gotta keep sewing. I want to know what you guys are talking about. I feel left out. Threading, using my thread dispenser because it's a little cone of thread. Now you may have been told not to wind a bobbin with this, but you absolutely can. Where am I at in the threading process? Ugh, couldn't remember. Got to do it again. I'm human. Do not use your needle cutter. It's a 7010. It's partly why I'll stay with a bigger needle sometimes, just because I don't want to have to thread it. But I got glasses. There they are. And you can't see this, but I can see it. I can see the thread. Come on, go up there. Take you up a little more. If I had more money, I'd be able to like push a button. There's some really cool cameras out there. But it's all right. If you don't mind, I don't mind. So the thread is in my hand. And by the way, you can iron this. I've done it on a video before, taken all the nylon threads, put them under an iron and cotton setting with steam. It was the binding, my binding video. If you didn't know, I have a video on binding. I do. It's one of the featured videos in the school. Because everybody needs to bind. Because if you ever get in a bind, no, just kidding. Uh-oh. Here's my adapter. Right there. I like this machine with the adapter, one of ours, better than the one that came with the Brother. There's a Brother and a baby lock, because Brother makes baby lock. Yeah, screw that adapter on tight. Another use for the Applique tweezers. So on really small pieces like this, you hold with the tweezers the shape as you set it down to glue it in place and position things. All right, invisible thread. Zigzag stitch, 1 millimeter wide. Zigzag stitch, 1 millimeter wide. Left swing goes on the fabric. Right swing goes in the ditch, or right off the edge of it. Length long, going to 3.5. Because there's batting. Because we don't really need to have really close stitches. You guys want me to show you the position of the guide, don't you? That requires the other camera. You guys really need to talk louder. I can't hear you. We were going to switch cameras. See if I can't show you. So when you bring the needle down, this camera may not be able to pick it up either. Right swing goes off the edge. Left swing goes on the edge. And once you do that, full rotation of the hand wheel, turning it always toward you, never away from you. Turn the hand wheel toward you, bring the needle down, and when the needle is just, come on, it's lost its focus. You bring the needle down just a little bit so that the tip is in the fabric. Then you turn the nut and move the wire over till it touches the right side. So this is one time where we're not going to swing over the wire on a zigzag stitch. And if you think I can see that from where I'm at, I can't, but I'm pretty sure it's right. I'm looking at the TV. Okay, so we're going to swing really close to the edge. We're going to be swinging depending on the guide, but not swinging over it, because the wire is the real guide. The white part of the guide is where I had to put the wire. And it just so happens that it's a high contrast of the fabric. So your focus isn't going to be at the needle where that teeny tiny zigzag stitch is going to swing. I got to make sure I set it up right though. Since I don't have supersonic sight, oh God, it's so far away. So needle down, and we turn the nut until the wire touches the right side of the needle. It's in the instructions. I call this invisible applique. Stitch length's too long. It's not stitching. Why aren't you stitching? Oh, that darn bobbin thread. I used the scissors. See? Ugh. I don't like the scissor button. It didn't sew. How not to sew. That's how not to sew. I'm getting loopier. I need chocolate. I can smell chocolate. I'm really not that addicted to chocolate. I'm lucky. Well, that's a new word. See how that happens? If you use that, breathe. I'm so hungry. At least the DOGs aren't bugging me yet. Any minute now, though. I know them. I don't want to do a part 2 of this. Valentine's Day will be over. Okay, so once it's in position, you watch the white part of the guide. Oh, I gotta give you that camera angle. It's just like curved piecing. If you didn't catch my quilting video where I show you how to piece, it's one of the Fabrically Speaking episodes. I show you how to do a curve. Is that as far as I can go in? Woo! I know I'm at 3 hours. No wonder I'm hungry, yeah. And all I had was my Dr. Gundry shake because we're having chocolate. Gotta reserve those calories. So watching the front of the foot, not the needle. It's already set. We checked it. We double checked it. And we just keep bringing the curve or the fabric to the white guide. I'm so far from my machine. I'm sitting to the side of the machine. I have the machine angled to the camera. So I am not the one doing the guiding. One finger holding the fabric, just kind of helping it pivot. Let go completely. The microphone went dead. So I will let go completely for a few stitches. I mean, I did. And now you can lower the needle if you want, and I am because I'm so off, like off angle to the machine. But normally just a finger plant will work. One finger guiding, watch here, don't watch the needle, don't watch the needle, don't watch the needle. Ignore the needle. I'm telling myself what to do. Whoopsie, I watched the needle. Don't do that. Batting. It's everywhere. I love batting. Maybe I gotta stop saying that. It's gone, I love you too. I wanna hug you. I'll get in your eyelashes. Watch the front of the foot. Don't watch the needle. Don't watch the needles. Watch the front of the foot. I wish I was centered. I'm off-centered. I'm a little off balance, a little off-centered. I wonder how many people are lurking. It's just cheating not to be a part of the chat. Ignore the needle. Watch the front of the foot. Get to the point. Lift. Turn. Lower the foot. You know where the needle is. It's where the guide is. So you don't have to keep turning the hand wheel and lowering needles. Watch the front of the foot. I'm much better if I sit centered. Can you still see me? I mean, oh, you can. As long as my head doesn't get in the camera. Oh, it's much better because my elbows are down. And my shoulders are relaxed. Watching the front of the foot. Just keep bringing the fabric back to it. Oh, I got dizzy. Magnifying glasses and I don't always get along. And then we would tie a knot with a knot stitch, or bring your needle down and get a hand sewing needle and pull the threads to the underside. Or you can just straight stitch and get it to the side of it and sew a couple stitches. And I'm not using that scissor button. It's the fastest stitching applique to stitch out. Did I word that right? Come on, microphone, catch up with me. Is the microphone back? Sounds like it. Okay. Here we go again. How to focus it. All right, this is what I've been doing. I've been getting closer to the camera. Oh, that's no wonder. I got the magnifying glasses on. Can only look up close with those. See that? See the stitches? Do you see those? See how you don't see them? It's because you're not supposed to see them. See that? If you run your fingernail on it, if there are any showing, they just go under. And you're left with no stitches. Needle turn applique by machine. I call it invisible applique, and I've been calling it that for 37 years. Boy, I just aged myself again. Now, how do we make it puffy? Because I said what I was going to do at the beginning. I need to do it. We're going to go from behind and cut the batting. But we don't want to cut the heart. But we do want to cut this fabric. All right, I need to go farther. Oops. So the trick is to not cut what you don't want cut. I know it's COVID and I'm licking my fingers, but I'm here alone. Okay, so now I've pulled that apart. So I got the batting here and that. So I know that if I snip this, oh, don't use those. Don't want to ruin those. These are even too small. Where am I large? So you make your scissors sloppy. It's by using too short a blade for a thick cut. Now I cut a slit. Now however big you cut that, you got to sew it back up. Or you can use a fusible interfacing. Just fuse it closed. Boom. Nobody knows. And what we're doing is using a polyfill, and this is just going to be the longest video. Oh well. It's because I have too much fun with quilting. There's a chopstick in my polyfill bag. You know why? Because it's awesome to use to shove it in. So next time you're out at a Chinese restaurant, well, I'm not going to tell you to do that. You can always wash your chopstick and then use it. There you go. Now you're being a good girl. Or boy. Shouldn't do that. I've got lots of guys that sew. This is the authentic or original Trompunto. We used to stuff things. We didn't stitch batting flat, leaving areas tufted. And it's really not the best way because batting rots away. This is polyester. And when they have like stems, they put yarn. They do like a double needle stitch, and then you can feed yarn through to create a three-dimensional stem. And those are the Trompunto designs that never get flat. I don't know what you guys are saying. I'm so curious. Pearl believes something that Sharon said, or Karen said. I'm glad you guys are having a good time. You guys are my Thursday date. There we go. It's probably a little bit puffier than it needs to be, but you know what the idea is? When you gotta use a pin, you're gonna have a heart-shaped box with a pin cushion on top. Are you liking the project? Yeah, finish it now. Make it work. Sorry for the loud sounds. Oh, that's right. There's chocolate in this one. Oh, wow, that smells good. Don't leave the pin in. And remember, you can stitch this closed, but this is a box. It's no big deal. It don't matter. There's some good grammar. Got to make sure it can go around the lip. And you can always glue, like I said, this to the box underneath. But I want to make sure I have enough. Did you guys get to see the hearts? Like that? Isn't that cool? Okay, there go my sound effects. Ugh. I don't want batting in a chocolate. So I'm trying to feel how much I have on either side. All the way around, and how much I need to cut. It's going to be a little sloppy. I'm just going to make sure it goes over the lip on that. I hear my little breaths out to get the batting every time I go through and listen or check your messages and have to watch myself all over again. At some point I probably won't have time. As they become more and more of you, I will have less and less time. But that's why we're bringing in Rosie. Time to build a team so I can sleep at night. Do you like the look of it, you guys? Oh, you love it? Aw, I'm so glad. Now you know what my vision has been. It's a little kick in the pants to get you guys to use the hoops. And you end up with a Valentine for yourself, or you can give it to someone else. Or you can do like Sandy's doing, give the chocolate away and keep the box. Pay attention, pay attention. Don't worry, I don't throw my scraps away. Okay, so the easiest way, oh man, forgot I gotta finish the edge. Oh, I need to come up with a batting song. Oh batting, stay off my face. And especially, don't land in my eyelashes ever again. This is me on 3 hours and 16 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go around and finish this edge, but not with invisible thread. Where's the thread? When I did shows, every once in a while someone would reach through, because my samples were all over the table. Customers were passing samples around. And a sample would go through here. And that's where the invisible thread would be. Get caught on the sample. And they hand it off. And then hand it off. And there's people walking through the aisles. And the person walked through the thread. And then all of a sudden there's people in the aisle all like, what are we all connected to? And I'd cut the thread. And where'd that come from? I don't know. We're all stuck to it. Make sure you cut your thread, especially if you have a cat. If you have a cat that can walk through the thread dispenser area. I had a cat that got the invisible thread on her tail. You know how the tail curls as they walk? And she went up the stairs, around some furniture. I found her on the stairs, all like in distress. It wasn't funny. It was very upsetting, actually. I felt so bad. So make sure you pick up or cut your thread. Don't leave your thread connected to the thread dispenser if you have a cat or a dog that acts like a cat. Because Tinkerbell will climb on tables. She's super fast too. Thankfully, I finished my wine last night before falling asleep on the couch. I'm going to tell you a story. I shouldn't, but I am. I was watching the news when I fell asleep. Shouldn't be doing that. Doesn't help you sleep. I woke up from a dream. In my dream, I was yelling at the newscaster, "You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me." And I had to do inventory yesterday. We had to inventory every item for our brand new site that's opening. And so I was opening a lot of boxes and throwing them, empty thread boxes. And so in my dream, I was throwing the empty boxes at her, trying to get her attention. And then I realized I was asleep. And it was just, the news was annoying. All right, I should not have told you that. And YouTube is forever, so forever. If anyone's willing to watch to 3 hours and 19 minutes, they will hear that silly chatter that I'm making. Trying to figure out the best way to do this. I had some thread, elastic thread. There it is. This is what I'm thinking would be the best to stitch it around the edge. This is where it would have been nice to have fabric on the bottom. And if I cut it wider and then cut the batting away, I would have that extra fabric. So I'm just loopy. So Claire, so. All right, I'm trying to remember how to thread the needle. Oh, there we go. No, I have too many machines. No, I'm grateful for all the machines I have. Okay. I'm going to stitch over the elastic with the Satinedge foot. I generally would do this with the Sequins and ribbon foot. But we're going to tie it afterward and adjust it to the box. So we don't need the foot to hold it to the point where it's stretching it. And know that in the instructions, in the book, there's a smocking technique where I use, yes, you can sew over fishing line. It's one of the techniques as well. But we want this to gather or hug the lid. That's the goal. We'll see. We'll see if I achieved it. So we're not securing the end. And we want a wider width than that. We want a wider width than the elastic, which you're not seeing my hands because I bumped it. So we want a wider width than the elastic. So this is about 1.5 millimeters. I'm going to go to 2.5 millimeters wide on a zigzag stitch. We don't want to go too wide. And we're going to go ahead and let the wire help us. So the elastic is between the wire and the fabric. So I need to go wider. I knew that. But I forgot for a second. See, even I forget. That's why there's instructions. Don't depend on your brain. Well, maybe you can. That batting is amazing. What's going on? Did I thread the machine with the foot down? I must have. So that's what happens when you thread the machine with the foot down. You got to see 2 mistakes. Pretty good. How many mistakes have I made? I don't want you counting. I know one of you will. One of you will go, I'm going to count. Let's see how many mistakes she makes for her whole show. At the end of the year, you give me a total of all the mistakes. I broke 1 needle so far since the show started. Not today, but the entire series. I know I broke 1 needle. Would help if I can see when I'm threading. The microphone's in the way. Feels like the foot's still down. That's the bobbin. I messed it all up. I need to eat. No whining. I feel great. Good morning, everybody. That's what I would do at a show. If I started feeling like this, I would just pretend I just got here. I'm refreshed. I just had coffee. Actually, I never had my coffee. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, 1 swing off, 1 swing on. It may not be enough of a width because of the batting. And here we go again using Satinedge Foot. Okay, so that's working. Now I'm going to add the elastic in after the fact, and you can see, there we go. Oops, I caught it. Oh well, we're trying not to do that. We don't want to catch it. Choose a wider width. Remember, double check, make sure your needle's not going to hit the foot. Ignore the needle. Watch the front of the foot. I don't need to go this tight of a stitch length. It's a box, but... and I'm trying to be quick. You could take your time, satin stitch all the way around, and then it'll look beautiful. Today I had the silliest song pop in my head. What was it? I was going to tell you guys. Can't remember. I just want you to know I look as forward to Thursdays as you guys do. But this Thursday was like, I was so excited. Get to use the Octi-Hoops. And the feet. I love the feet too. I shouldn't make it sound like I don't like my feet. But the Octi-Hoops make me feel like a kid. Excuse me. So see where my hand is? And once again, elbows down, shoulders relaxed. Jaw relaxed. Just chill. We're almost done. Yay. It is officially the longest episode. I'm so sorry if that's loud. Water. Fell down. The dogs both got up because they thought I was getting up. We're almost done. Now you get to see my vision. Don't hit that elastic. It's pulling. You can get this elastic thread at any sewing store. They use it for button loops on bridle as well sometimes. Yep, Tina already knows. She already figured out what she wanted. We were on the phone yesterday. And tomorrow I will be available for phone should any of you need help with ordering. So pulling it over because it's the point of the heart. Be more likely to strike the elastic there. Once it's in there, it's secured, protected by the wire on the right side and the batting on the left. I'm actually super excited to have these boxes. I'm like, how many boxes can we have? I think we could have a lot and still use them. I just have to remember what I put in which box. I'm running out of drawer space, so boxes makes up for that. Okay, now my left straight stitch, left needle. Go forward and back to secure that. And now it doesn't matter. I'm going to use the scissor button. That chair. This is when, if you have anyone in your house with you, it would be helpful to have them like hold it down. Remember the beginning, I accidentally struck it. We'll see if I did it any other time. See how it's just kind of, oops, we'll pull back. Whoops, that's forward. Just a little pull and it tucks under. So even if you don't have the lip on your box, can't remember which one of you doesn't have that. Just getting it to curl down, then you would be able to glue it. And I would glue it with like a permanent kind of glue. Our liquid base might work, but you probably have to clip it to hold it while it dries. This reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? Does it remind you guys of anything? Oh, an ironing board cover. Ooh, that could be another project. Or another. Oh, I am doing that. I am about to teach you guys how to make something in place of the wool mats, because the wool mat's kind of smelly. Although one of you guys had a solution that worked for her. Say they're okay if you don't need steam. If you need steam, it's more than I could bear. You could embroider. You can do so much. I know. I could have gone on 4 more hours, easy, with more that you could do. That's the problem. I have so much to teach you. It's like petting a cat. Oh, that batting. It's everywhere. I love it. I love my batting. You're going to add cardboard to your box? So smart. Now you can use paper plate. I've got some in the sewing room because I'm going to show you how to make that coffee mug hut. I'm not going to do it live though. I'm going to film that. This is like a second filming to finish it. And then you're going to go, well, that's a lot easier. But you know, I'm super excited by the mistake because I now have a cat bed pattern. I think it's going to be a great cat bed. You never know what your mistakes are going to lead to. Here we go. It's a little bit fluffy. Oh, I think it's still cool. You guys think it's cool? It's a box. Oh my god, I like it. I really do. Now you can cinch it up tight. Stuff's really resilient. Actually, it was a good idea to have it caught at the beginning. And if I'd known that all of that was going to show, I could have done better on my quilting. But it's just a box. So now we just got to tie that off. Cut all our tails. And you can tuck. I must not have cut some tails. Because I have 4. Should only have 2. Okay, I think that's as tight as I can get it. Sounds like I'm ripping. Maybe we should switch from chocolate to wine. Yes, it is a pin cushion. That was the purpose, or it was one of the reasons. But you could definitely have adorned that heart first and do all kinds of different things, which is why I had beads and stuff out. But there's only so many hours in a Fabrically Speaking episode before the host will pass out. Now I've tied that knot. I'm going to leave it long. Leave the tail long because I can tuck it. Oh, don't drop out your chocolate. Tuck the tails inside. There you go. What do you think? Are you guys applauding? Going, yay, thank God, she's done. We can go eat dinner. Oh, no, we're going to have chocolate. So what chocolate is your favorite? I usually use sugar-free chocolate. I usually eat Lily's chocolate. Sugar-free, 70% cacao or higher. Because I know it's good for me. But I am fond of milk chocolate. It would be the biggest cheat. I have no idea which ones they are because I think it was on the lid. I don't know. You guys got your chocolate out? You guys ready? I'll hold it up for a minute. Isn't that sweet? It's actually kind of sweet. I like it. All right, well, this one's yelling at me. I have no idea what's in it. Guys ready? Cheers. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. I hope that you have a full heart and that you find joy in the day. Oh, it's got a pink center. It's themed for Valentine's Day. Cheers to the chocolate. Oh, this is just so cute. It's better. Well, parts of it are better. Parts of it could be better, but it's better than my mind envisioned. You're having a 2-bite brownie. Just white chocolate, huh? That's really sweet to me. It's probably raspberry. I can't tell. It's just sugar. Woo! Tinkerbell. Are you whining at Mama? Come here. Come to Mommy. She's like, I want a cookie. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'll see you in the school. Eating chocolate was not required. Buying the box was the goal. I'm looking to see if there's any questions. And really, you can make that so much faster than I did. I have to remember at one point the whole thing shut down and I had to come back in. Oh, I'm so glad you all like the box. I don't know what this says. I have no idea. I can't go back without watching it live and then hearing it. Then I'll know what to say. Yeah, Sandy, I'd love to see what you... I want to see what you guys do with these. And if you get 3 boxes of chocolate, you can make 3. Wow, that's sugar. Woo! All right, you guys. It's time. I need an ending song. That'll be coming. Gotta remember how to end a video. I love you guys madly. I hope you have the most wonderful Valentine's Day and rest of your week. After this, I'll probably go to sleep. I fall asleep pretty early after these shows. Sometimes I go out to dinner. I definitely like to be served afterward. And then I sit down and I don't usually last very long. I pass out on the couch. Then I wake up around 2 and go, oh man, I should have just gone to bed. But you know, when you live alone, you can do whatever you want. Love you guys so much. Mwah. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye. Thanks for watching, you guys.